Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee. We are talking about dating your spouse this week, the whole episode.
Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee. On this podcast, you'll hear real topics about real life. They cover everything from married sex to raising kids to loving your spouse so much that you're willing to forgive them for occasionally being the most annoying person in the world. Trey and Lee have raised 4 boys, been married over 30 years, and somehow still really like each other. And now, live from the metropolis of Childress, Texas, a place so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. Here are your hosts for the Stronger Marriage Podcast, Trey and Lee Morgan.
Welcome, everybody. Glad you joined us. We are fresh off a trip from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yes, Tennessee was pretty as always, pretty humid. They were having a little bit of a rainy season right now, I think.
We're jealous because in Texas, we always want rain and we haven't had a lot.
That's right. We're a little dry right now, but had a good week. Got Searcy, Arkansas coming up next month. So we're excited about that. If you're in the Arkansas area, check it out.
Yep, we would love to have you join us. Registration is currently open. We've also had some date changes for 2022 and some event changes. So if you've been kind of keeping up with when we're going to be around you in 2022 and watching a specific date, you might whip over to our webpage, treyandlee.com, and see if anything has changed, because there have been some dates that have kind of changed and we've moved some stuff and just kind of shuffling some dates like we needed to.
Yes.
So we talk dating.
Dating. Maybe we should call this Dating 101. I don't know. We're just going to cover all the bases of why it's important to date, ways you can date, how to incorporate easy dates into your marriage, just all of it.
Well, we talk about dating a lot. We haven't done a dating podcast, but we talk about dating on our podcast. Why are we talking about dating so much? Why is that so important?
Dating is just, it's just fuel for your marriage. It should be included in your wedding vows. I think you said.
So you could go for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, and may you date weekly or bi-weekly.
I promise to take you on dates. Yes. It's just, it provides an opportunity to spend time together without distractions, just the two of you, where you can have fun, where you can have conversation, where you can just focus on each other, where you can flirt. It just incorporates so much of what we talk about that's important in marriage.
Dating is healthy because it gets you away. It gets you out of your house, out of your comfort zone, away from your kiddos, and it needs to be done. Dating your spouse is telling your spouse that he or she is still a big priority in your life, and you need to be dating. It is a characteristic of a healthy marriage that you are still dating, and if it has been months and months and months since you've gone on a date, you need to sit down and have a talk with your spouse and go, we've got to recommit. It's that important. That important.
That's right. The first thing you've got to do is make time, no matter what. Dates are not going to just happen. You're not going to just sit around and look at each other and go, oh, we don't have anything on the schedule tonight. Let's go on a date. You've got to plan in advance. If you're like, most families in America right now that are just busy all the time, and your kiddos are involved in lots of activities, you got to look ahead, and you got to plan ahead, and you got to make it happen.
You got to set a date. Put a date on the calendar.
Yeah, literally put it on the calendar.
Next Thursday, you may be sitting there going, hey, we don't have anything next Thursday. Go ahead and write down date night. Whatever it is, look at your calendar, get it out with your spouse, put it there. And you may be going, well, we hadn't been home in a while. Well, date. It is that important. Sit down, schedule a time. You may need to cancel something and go, we just need some time together. What is a recommendation for how often a couple should be dating, if possible? What is the best scenario, and maybe if you can't do that, do this.
Well, I think best case scenario is at least once a week. You
Okay.
should be finding time for just the two of you. If you just absolutely cannot pull off once a week, and we're going to tell you throughout this episode a lot of ways how you can pull that off. But if you just still can't, then hopefully every other week you're finding some time to spend together.
And you may be freaking out listening to this once a week thing. And when we're talking dating, you're going to hear it. We're not talking big dress up, expensive. You're going, we can't afford that. It's not in the budget. Don't give me that. There are cheap dates. There are easy dates. And you can pull this off.
And some of the things that we consider a date, you may go, that's not a date, but it can be. It can be. So
It sure can.
Just stick with us.
So bi-weekly if possible. And by far, don't you let a month go by that you haven't had a date.
That's right.
You got to get that done.
Yes.
And you may be in a situation, we visited with a lady recently that said, we have a new tiny baby. It's going to be months before we can date. No, take that tiny baby with you. They're going to sleep most of the trip anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So take that baby with you and put them in the car seat and let them sleep. It's a good thing to do.
It is.
So make time for a date. You got to do it no matter what. It's that important. And while you're on the date, you need to work at having some conversation, have some good talks, if you want to put it that way. Meaning, don't stare at your phone.
Phones are a no-no. Phones are just a no-no on dates.
If you want to take a few moments and both of you check your phone and then put them up, okay. But don't sit there and look at your phone while you're out eating together. Don't always pick the movie date because you don't get a lot of time to talk during a movie, although movies are fun and it's okay to go to a movie. But find some time just to talk, to catch up on kind of what's going on in both of your worlds. And we talk about conversation starters all the time. You can Google those. But just some opportunities to go, what you got going on that's new in your world, or how is work, just a chance to talk. And you don't have to always... A lot of couples that maybe are going through some tough times use every second of alone time to talk about serious stuff. And occasionally you need to have a date night where you just go have some fun and not talk about all the serious stuff and just go reconnect without, hey, we need to talk about bills or we need to talk about this or that or whatever it is. So have some good conversation while you're there. Make that a goal.
Yes. Get creative with your dates. Okay. So this is where we're going to talk about a lot of things that you can do. Man, Pinterest has a million date ideas, right?
Do.
I mean, if you're on Pinterest,
I was looking this morning.
Just you can look up, you can do a search for date ideas, and you will be overwhelmed with all of the date ideas. But do that. You can do something as simple as having a picnic in your car. And we've done that. Like if we're traveling on a trip, we might pack a picnic. We might stop and get something and just put a pizza in between us in the car.
That's fun. I love doing that. I like it when we pack a lunch and we're whipping stuff out of a sack and eating in the car and visiting. And sometimes we park. You can drive to a park and it may be hot, it may be cold. Sit in your car, run the heater, run the air conditioner, and just sit and look out at the park. Some place to just go and just be creative. I love the idea of a date surprise, which we probably need to do this more often, where we take turns planning the date, and maybe we're leaving at 7, and here I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do, but maybe it's an idea to say, hey, you either need to dress up, dress casual, or wear something you can hike in or something along those lines. So you at least have an idea. But, a surprise date of one person planning the date would be a lot of fun.
That is true.
Or kidnap your spouse is what one guy said. He said, I like to just call my wife and say, hey, there's nothing on the calendar for tomorrow night at 7:00. Don't make plans. And that's all he tells her.
Yes. So... Man, there's so many good ideas, and we talked about leaving the house. You don't always have to even leave your house. If you've got something planned and you want to cook a favorite meal and you want to put on something sexy afterwards or whatever, I mean, you don't even have to leave your house.
Yep.
So at-home dates are okay. Now you might want to get the kids out of the house, Send them to some friends or something. But yeah, you can at home dates are great. If, especially if it's been a while since you've had a night at home, that might be your preferred date for that.
Yeah.
For that particular.
And we're going to talk about some of those that we have in a moment, just some specific things you can do. Consider recreating your first date or one of your first dates. Maybe you can't remember what you did on your first date. Maybe you can't go back and recreate it, but some date you had that would be kind of fun. I did this one time. I don't remember when. I don't know if it's an anniversary. I don't know if it's a birthday.
Ooh, I think it was an anniversary.
Maybe it was an anniversary, but we recreated, or I did. I didn't tell you what we were doing, and all I told you was, I remember, you need a pair of socks, and that really threw you because they said, "Wait, what? I need some." Yeah, I said you got to have socks, and I took you. I lined out. Lee and I fell in love at skating rinks. That was big back in our days.
It wasn't necessarily our first date.
No,
that was
that's
just
right.
what we did a lot.
Church youth
in
group.
The early days of
church
our
youth
dating.
group. We did a lot of skating, and so couple skating was huge. I love couple skate because that meant I get to go hold the hand of the brown-eyed, brown-haired girl, and we get to couple skate, and our hands would sweat. Those were good old days. We still talk about how much fun we had at skating rinks, couple skating and stuff like that. And I called the actual rink where we used to skate a lot, and they had turned into a daycare. And I said, I was hoping to recreate, kind of 15 years ago, my wife and I grew up skating there and kind of fell in love at skating rinks. And the guy was so moved. He said, well, we still have the rink and we still have skates. And he said, could you come? And he set the time. And I said, I can be there. I said, is there any way if I ran off and burned a CD with some songs from the 80s that we used to skate to, could you play that? He said, I can. And he had fun with this. This was like, wow, I can't believe this is going to happen. And we showed up, and of course you had your socks, and we skated for a little while, which I'm just glad we didn't break a hip or anything like that, right? But he turned on the little ball that makes lights and turned down the lights, and we couple skated to maybe 20 minutes, nice enough after the kids had all left one day about 5 p.m. And he gave us the opportunity to just spend some time doing that. That was cool. I remember that. I hadn't forgot it.
Yes.
Hadn't forgot it.
So we're not going to just keep giving you, ideas of things you can do on your date, because you can look those kinds of things up.
Sure.
If you've got our book, 10 Ways to a Stronger Marriage, we've included a list in there. If you've been to one of our workshops, we include a list of date ideas in there. Like I said, you can Google that, you can Pinterest that, you can find date ideas to get creative with, so that you're not doing the same thing over and over. A lot of people just think dinner and a movie, that's a date. Think outside the box and do something different besides dinner and a movie all the time.
And dinner and a movie is fine.
It is.
That's not.
It is. You will be surprised when you start doing other things how much fun you have when you go on dates.
That's right.
So, yes, think outside the box.
Okay, here's another fun one.
Okay, this is another way that you can incorporate dating into
daily activities.
Maybe your daily activities. Yes.
Okay, these are called errand dates.
Errand dates. Mm-hmm.
Errand dates.
Errand
with a D. And that means, hey, you're headed to Lowe's, can I go with you? You're headed grocery shopping, can I go with you? Mm-hmm. You're going to Costco, can I go with you? And spending an hour shopping with your spouse at one of those places, just kind of we have lots of Lowe's dates or Home Depot dates and sometimes Sam's dates. I actually kind of like those. I actually think shopping dates, I kind of can get on your nerves sometimes because I'm putting a lot of stuff in the basket that doesn't need to be there. But the other things, take an errand date and go pick out a new paint color at Lowe's or something.
Dream about a project that you'd like to do, get inspired. And you're thinking, errand dates, that sounds boring. That's not a date. That sounds awful. Turn it into something fun.
Hold hands.
Yeah. Flirt in the store. Stop off when you're done and get some ice cream or, a coffee or something. But yeah, if you've got to run that errand anyway, turn it into a date. It's true. Make it fun.
That is true. That's exactly right. Okay, here's another tip for dating. It's okay to be cheap This is important
Yes.
because this is the dumb excuse we get all the time. We can't afford a date.
Yeah, there is a huge myth that romance and dating has to be expensive. False. That is so false.
Text messages are free. Sweet text messages. Handwriting a sweet note, free. I'll give you cheap. I heard a lady say the other day that her husband picked up an $8 bouquet of flowers, fresh flowers, at Costco. She said it made my week. $8 for a little bouquet of daisies and other things.
Ranger says hi.
Yeah, and so, I mean, how simple is that? Go pick some flowers.
Yes.
Find a flower to bring home. Just, romance doesn't have to be expensive. Eat off the dollar menu.
That's right.
Pack a lunch. Lee said that a while ago.
Yeah, picnic. Dates don't have to be expensive. They really don't. We enjoy the occasional dress up, fancy restaurant, concert, theater type date. Those are expensive. Those are maybe once a year kind of dates. But we're just talking, your weekly date does not have to be expensive, because we realize that could quickly break the bank and the budget if you're constantly doing things that cost a lot of money.
Your kids may have started back to school. Meet your spouse at McDonald's and eat lunch together.
Lunch date. We did so many lunch dates when all of our kids were home, and we had busy schedules. That was a lot of times that was our weekly date, was a lunch date, because that was all we could swing. And that is okay, because it still gave us that time to, talk across the table or to sit in the car and to reconnect. Yeah. So if that's all you can manage right now, you do it.
Yeah. Don't worry about being cheap.
That's right.
Here's another fun idea for
I love
dating.
this one.
I do too.
Yes.
Be active together. Be active together, meaning do something that requires maybe some sweat, maybe some outdoor activity. Go for a walk. Mm-hmm. Go for a walk through the park. If you've got kids, maybe you can put them on the playground equipment. If they're old enough, and you can walk around the outside with your spouse while they're playing together or something.
Yeah. Evening walks after dinner are just some of the best times. Talk about undivided attention. It's hard to be on your phone while you're walking, because you got to kind of concentrate on where you're going. And so, phones are away. There's no TV. There's no music. You're just walking and talking. It's such a great time for conversation.
Yeah. We like to go on hikes.
We love to hike.
We like to find a trail and go on a hike. And so that's a normal thing for us, where we'll take off and go go hike. And that's a fun date. We go to the gym a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you'd consider that a date, but I like it. I like it when you hang out at the gym with me. Ride bikes together. Go to an amusement park. It doesn't have to be a big one. Don't go to a big one. Go to a little one in your community.
Yeah.
If the fair shows up, it's fall. It's coming, man. The fair shows up. The carnival shows up. Go.
That's right. We talked about skating. Maybe go skating if you haven't been skating in years. That could be fun. Miniature golf, top golf. Is that what it's?
Yeah,
there's just so many things that you can be active and date at the same time.
Yeah. Now, dating is for fun. Dating is for rekindling friendship. But it's okay to make dating sexy. You said that a while ago.
Yes.
Dress up for a date. If you're going out to eat, put on something that your spouse is going to go, you look really nice. Or put on some cologne or some perfume or whatever it is you do. Ladies, I have no doubt every husband is very visually stimulated, and if you'll pick something in your closet out that he likes, that fits you in some way where he goes, wow, you look incredible, he'll love that. Let him know, hey, I'm excited about this date. I can't wait till we get home and finish the date. Make it a fun date, a sexy date. Maybe you need to tell your spouse, hey, you've planned a great date and I am excited about it. And tell your spouse, send your husband a text and go, hey, let's not have dessert. I'll have you for dessert later. Just something to just kind of make it, wow, this is going to be a fun night. Yes. Put some excitement into it.
Yes, that is That's a great idea. Give them a sneak peek of what you have on underneath your outfit. Yeah.
Boxers.
Yes, those plaid
For men.
boxers. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, you can be sexy. That's healthy.
Yep, it is. It is. Let's give you two more real quick. Make sure you get some overnight dates worked into your schedule. That's important as well.
Yes.
Hotel. If you can pull off a weekend. If you have small kids, we know this is tough, but try to find somebody to watch kids occasionally and reconnect overnight in a hotel or a trip or something along those lines. And that is so healthy for your marriage. And anniversaries ought to be that time every year where you're going, we need to sneak away for a day or two. Even if it's for just a day, you find a place that somebody can watch those kiddos and y'all go spend some time just honeymooning together and having some fun.
Right.
It is really, really important that you do have some dates that are more than just a couple of hours.
Yes. Some weekends away are very, very, very important.
They are.
So important. Yes.
Give us the last one.
Don't shy away from at-home dates. I kind of jumped the gun earlier and talked about that. If you want to stay home, stay home. There's plenty of fun dates you can have at home, and you can put the kids to bed early if they're young enough.
Don't just go flop in your chair and fall asleep or turn on sports.
No,
you got to be
that's
intentional.
not a date.
If you're going to have an at-home date, you got to tell your spouse, hey, we're going to have a date tonight when the kids go to bed, and make the plans. Don't get the kids to bed and go, okay, what do you want to do? No, have it lined out what you're going to do.
Do something out of the ordinary, not something that you always do. But yeah, popcorn in a movie after the kids are asleep. We looked up a music concert, during kind of quarantine time when, we wished we could be going out and doing things and couldn't. And we looked up, we watched a play one night, and we watched concerts online, and that's fun. Plan a meal that you can cook together. Go outside, look at the stars, sit on your porch, start a fire, cook some s'mores, do some s'mores. I don't know. There's so many fun things you can do at home.
That's true. That is exactly right. Yeah, just have some popcorn. Just have the plan before the kids are asleep what we're going to do. Cook some cookies together. Just any of those things, but don't shy away from home dates. Have some fun spending some time together.
That's right. And I think a lot of the date ideas that you look up online, a lot of those are at home kind of dates. So
it is, and that's good. Call it a date.
Yes.
And so sit out there if it's cool. Sit out there on the porch with some hot chocolate. Start a fire in a fire pit. Something that would be fun. Just find some time together.
And one of the goals of all of this is to mix these all up. Don't, like we said, now guys, you may be thinking, man, all I got to do is take her on a walk after supper and that's a date. We consider that a date occasionally, but that's not, you got to do other things.
It's not the only thing we're doing.
No, we want you to do we want you to do the active dates. We want you to do the romantic dates. We want you to do overnight dates. We want you to do the, go out to dinner dates. We just mix it up. Mix it up.
So I've been working on some vows in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So what if we started including in wedding vows? Do you promise to love and to hold and to date your spouse? I just think that's important. One of them rules. We're going to throw that in there. We're going to make that happen.
So
dating.
So the next wedding he does, he may throw that in there.
Yeah, actually, I think I probably have it there. That is important.
Yeah.
So we're glad you joined us. Get on a date. Go on a date this week. If you go on a date, message us. We'd love to hear about it. Tell us about what you did or what you've done on dates that's fun. We would love to hear it. Send us a message. Send us an email. Go to our webpage. Man, you can message us there. Let us know about some crazy fun date y'all did. Give us some ideas. We would love some new ideas for dates for us to do. So
we would. Maybe that's a post we need to do on Instagram or something is tell us about a fun date you've been on.
There you go.
Because I think other people like to read that.
I think you're right.
people's comments and get ideas. So
I think you're exactly right.
Yes.
We are so glad y'all joined us. This was a fun podcast episode.
See you next week.